Just talking about the global cues, this morning they're stable. The GIFT Nifty is already indicating a mildly positive start for us, and blowout set of numbers coming in from Nvidia. A revenue uptick of 265%, no less. That's what they've been seeing. And clearly, it's that particular stock which has actually jumped up the movement on the Nasdaq as well. But that said, decent handover, nothing really to complain.
Nothing really to complain, but look, global markets are stable, but there is perhaps something which can you afford to ignore long. And what you cannot ignore to afford long is the jump in yield, dollar index above 104, crude now really way above 80, going to that uncomfortable level of 82.5, 83.5. And these are the factors which in a sense could really have an impact. I mean, crude is flat, but it is really going towards 83. So while you could say that global cues are stable, but in terms of the macro positioning, the macros is where you need to now start examining it if the macro picture in terms of risk, dollar index, if that deteriorates further. So nothing wrong right now with the global setup. Nothing encouraging about the global setup. It is status quo, but incrementally there are changes in the yield and in the dollar on the dollar index, which I think you just need to be a bit watchful of. Could this just really trigger a selling stampede, or will this just come and go? I don't know. But all I'm saying is watch the space.
Okay. Yeah, the FOMC minutes as well overnight were kind of stale. There wasn't any new info, so to speak, coming in there. Fed's Bowman saying that the time for lower rates is certainly not now. Nvidia earnings, of course, like we said, definitely sparkled, the street over there. But yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to the global context, and a dull Wednesday for us as well on the negative side.
Absolutely. We wrapped up the day at 22,055. So we were down about 0.6%. And it was actually the broader end of the market, Aisha, that underperformed. And it was pretty much towards the second half of the trading day that we saw that selling resume and then pick up. So the breadth of the market as well was on the downside. And it was the Nifty Bank Index actually that also put pressure. A lot of those heavyweights that came under pressure, like an SBI, as the Nifty Bank Index snapped that 6-session gaining streak. So nothing to write home about in terms of yesterday's trading day, Nikunj.
So you made 3 times new high this in a patch of 15 days. And there is just no thunder even in large cap stocks. And that's the point I'm trying to bring out, that okay, optically you're making a new high, but technically that is not translating into any kind of a grand rally or follow-up move or anything special. Second, benchmark indices may be at an all-time high, but mid and small cap stocks are not at an all-time high. Something which is worth examining, that the tail is no longer wagging the dog. It is the large and the mega caps which in a sense are now suddenly outperforming. Let's look at the month of Feb. Very small 15-day kind of a trading window. Look at the Nifty, the Bank Nifty, and then we look at the small and the mid cap index. Now let's look at it. That's yesterday's data. Market slipped from the day's high, closed not at the day's low, recovered marginally towards the fag end. And that's the Bank Nifty for you in the month of Feb. But if you just look at Nifty and the small cap index and the mid cap index in the month of Feb, which is what it is, the Bank Nifty is flat. Courtesy a comeback in HDFC, it is flat. The mid cap index is up just 0.5%. The small cap index is down 0.5%, and the Nifty actually has given you 1.5% interest. So directionally, their underperformance in mid and small cap stocks has started. That's point number 1. Point number 2, the inertia in the market is missing. Even though optically you're making a new high, supply is coming up. So I would use the word thunder or perhaps jammed, but my view is markets are lacking a trigger. There is drop in energy levels, there is little follow buying. It's not the time where you want to really take a large gains. You'll have to look at perhaps very stock specific action here, which will always be there in any market, but taking a view on the market based on the current technical setup, I think the options to really make big gains, I think is not there right now.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Some consolidation also could be par for the course. Well, one news, it's the paint sector which is going to be in focus. Grasim is all set to now inaugurate its first paint plant. While this is, of course, something which is well in the price because the announcement came in much earlier. But yeah, it's finally here. Competition from the mighty big one.
Okay, there's Birla moving into the paint industry, nothing new about it.
Yeah.
But in terms of the announcement, in terms of the grandstanding, in terms of what their thoughts are, in terms of how they would really be challenging the entire current incumbents in the paint industry, a lot would be known today. The Birlas have come and they're challenging the entire dominance of Asian paints and others in the paint industry. Why is that crucial? Because for the first time you got competition coming from a large group, because JSW did move into the paint business, but their investment was that not large. We are looking at about 10,000 crore kind of an investment coming from the Birla group. So this is something which really would be the exciting watchword for the market per se. And given that, they have such a large commitment, will the entire setup of the paint industry change? From a market standpoint, could there be a price war? Could there be a P compression? Could there be, is this the geo moment for the paint industry? That we'll only get to know when the press release and when the entire strategy forward would be announced by Mr. Birla. But from a market standpoint, look, this is exciting because paint stocks in India have been the highest wealth creators. Yeah. Asian Paints, Berger, they've been highest wealth creators. Incumbent comes in, and this incumbent is coming in with a big pocket and a strong distribution and a great brand. So obviously it will have impact on the paint industry and the pricing per se. Just think about it. Reliance came and challenged Birlas in the telecom space. Adani came and challenged Birlas in the cement space. Birlas are coming out and challenging Asian Paints in the paint space.
Okay, let's see what's in store.